We're going to be using the russet Norcota, one of the best uniform, tastiest potatoes on the market, available all year round on the retail level and the wholesale level. Great potato for fresh cut French fries. And they're always very, very nicely looking and so on. They're just fantastic, shallow eyes, really nice skin and so on. But you do want to wash them. So let's wash them first, get that done, then we move on from there. So once you've washed the potatoes, we're going to take them and take them to the cutter. And so we're going to use a 3/8 cutter. The bigger sizes, the more customized they are. So this is going to be a 3/8, which is probably as small as you'd want to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at that cutter. We're going to keep these unpeeled because we want that kind of rustic sort of look on it. The peel on there, it's going to add some good character to it and so on. And this is really a simple process. So we're going to be cutting them into some nice cold water. Let's just put them into the cutter here and just place them right there. You don't have to really do anything, but just give them a nice shove. So this just goes right in beautifully. These potatoes just come out fantastic. A little skin on there, again, adds that character to it. Beautiful length on this. This is probably like a 90-count potato, which is about right. But you, of course, choose what you want for your size, shorter or longer, whatever it might be. But the ricotas have a nice length to them, so you're going to get a good-looking, lengthy fry. Now we have our fresh cut potatoes. Now, one thing you want to do is that potatoes will oxidize a little bit in water. So what you want to do is add a little bit of white vinegar to it, or you can use citrus acid. In this case, we're going to use just simple white vinegar. And really, your ratio is about a tablespoon per gallon of water. So you just want to put that in there, and that's going to help keep those potatoes from oxidizing. And then on the potatoes, what you're really doing here is you're leaching out the starches. And when you leach out the starches, we're going to decrease sugar and so on, because sugar, you don't really want a lot of sugar involved in the potatoes. But you want to have the starches leach out. So this water's going to get a little bit cloudy after a while. And I would do this for at least 3 hours to 24 hours. So you have a lot of flexibility there. But then just store them in your cooler and you're ready to go. But that's going to keep them really super nice. And it's also going to promote crispness. Let them sit 3 hours minimum. Change the water, and that's going to get a lot of the excess starches off. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to be drying it. You don't want to overcrowd the basket or overcrowd the oil because you want to maintain the heat level. The heat level is really important. Is that if you think about it, these fries are probably about 50 degrees right now, so they're fairly cold. The fryer is at 325 degrees. Once I throw in a lot of French fries or too many French fries, it's going to drop that oil temperature. You don't want to drop the oil temperature too much, so don't overcrowd the basket. So let's just throw some into the basket here. We just drop them in. And you see this is not highly activated because the temperature is fairly low. So all we're going to do here is give them maybe 2-3 minutes, not browning them, to be cooked to the middle. Check them. You want to be having them be able to bend the fry, but not break the fry. So anyway, we're going to take a look at that. And then about halfway through the baking process or the frying process, we want to shake them a little bit to kind of get that oil circulating. Again, we're not trying to achieve any color here whatsoever. We're just cooking the potatoes right now. Remember, we talked about 80% water in a potato. This is going to drop the potato down to almost 40% at this point before we do the finished fry to get them crisp. So again, this is a 3/8 cut fry. It might be 2 or 3 minutes. If it's a 1/4 inch fry, it's going to be less time. If it's a bigger fry, like a 1/2 inch, you're going to give it more time. So you have to experiment a little bit on your time frame. Anyways, but you're going from basically a shiny potato, like these are shiny, to a kind of a matte sort of appearance. The matte appearance is kind of, you can tell the water is coming off those potatoes. So you see they're still nicely white here. They're looking pretty good. And actually, I'm going to say that's probably about right. So this is 2 or 3 minutes, and we can just take them out, and we'll just go ahead and drain them. So these are going to cool down. What's going to happen on the cooling process, you're still evaporating moisture here. So we're still trying to get rid of that 80% water down to about 35, 40% thereabouts. So this is going to go into, Again, I'm prepping this ahead of time. I'm going to put this in the cooler for service later on. So I'll be doing lots of batches of this on sheet pans, probably on a speed rack into the cooler, let it sit there, ready for service, and then they're going to be just a couple minutes to crisp them up again. But anyway, so that's going to look really good. So now you see these are just cooking through. They feel just a little bit on the tender side, which is good. Anyway, so we're just going to kind of let those go. But again, I'm not going to cook these right away. These are going to be stored for later prep, for later use when we need them for service. Okay, let's get those fries out of the cooler. Okay, so you've seen now they've gone from a kind of a shiny appearance to a nice matte appearance. So these have cooled down, and now they're ready for service. Now at this point, once they're blanched and cooked through, you can actually freeze these. So freezing them is great for backup later on. But anyway, this would be really, really great. Anyway, so another thing that's important is check your fry oil temperature. So I use a thermal gun quite often for that. Fryer thermometers usually work really well, but just to double check that I'm at the right temperature. So I'm just gonna probe it here. And we're running about 375 degrees, which is about right, because all we're trying to do here is get that crispy, beautiful, crunchy French fry that just sort of melts in your mouth and is fantastic. So let's just take that. We're just going to drop these fries into the basket here. So, and just drop it now. If you have an auto timer or auto lift, that's fantastic. This is where you want to experiment with time and temperature. At this point, we're 375. Probably going to take 2-3 minutes to get these fries crisped up and golden brown. But in your fryer application, it could be any amount of time. It could be less, a little more. So anyway, so time and temperature is always going to be your call in terms of the potatoes that you're using. The beauty about the Norcotas is that they are very consistent year-round. So I think you can't go wrong with these. I think they're fantastic. Plus, as you know with the Norcota, is that even though we're doing a fresh cut fry program, these are a multi-purpose potato. These can be used for pretty much all your potato needs. There's still that sort of medium density, nice high solids, certainly for mashed potatoes, au gratin potatoes, any type of hash browns, pretty much anything you need. Norcotas is still going to work beautifully for you. These just make a beautiful French, just a good signature item. So now we have these fries here. So look, they're just crisp, nice, just beautiful. Look at that, just fantastic. And this is something you want to come back for time and time again. Okay, so now we have our signature fries here. Now let's talk a little bit about holding time. Holding time is very important. Is that, like all food, it has a limited shelf life, so you want to serve them ASAP. I'm thinking maybe 5 to 10 minutes maximum. But you want hot, crispy French fries here.